I just came out from the ongoing residential retreat, so we are going to start the next part of this mindfulness for young adult session. Now it's the time for discussing what we call the Concept and Reality book by Most Venerable Katukurunde Nyananda Mahathero. And last time actually we have discussed certain areas which are related to Madhupindika Sutta. And now we are going to discuss next chapter as far as I can remember. And Saman is ready with the reading part. So I cordially invite Saman to start the session by reading part of the book which is scheduled for today.
Asra Bante. I'll start from the place where we stopped last week or week before. Bondage of Concepts. The Vepachitti Sutta of Samyukta Nikaya brings into clear relief of vicious proliferation tendency in ideation implied by papancha as well as the enslavement it entails. The parable of Vepachitti Asurinda, king of demons, related by the Buddha as a preamble to his sermon proper, is particularly significant in this respect. It concerns the mythical battle between gods and demons and describes how the victorious gods bring Vepachitti bound neck, hand and foot to the presence of Sakka, the Lord of God. The fivefold bondage of Vepachitti has a peculiar mechanism about it. When Vepachitti thinks that the gods are the righteous and the demons are unrighteous, and desires to remain in the Deva world, he straightway beholds himself free from the bondage and possessed of the five pleasures of the senses. But as soon as he thinks that the demons are righteous and gods are unrighteous, and wishes to go back to the Asura world, he finds himself bound with that fivefold bondage, divested of the five sensual pleasures. This fantastically subtle bondage is dependent on the very thoughts of the prisoner. Having cited this parable, the Buddha now effects the transition from mythology to psychology and philosophy.
Yeah, one moment, Saman. So let me elaborate this a little bit. So basically, Buddha, as mentioned by Most Venerable Nyananda Thero, giving this preamble to the what we call the Vepachitti Sutta, or sometimes it is called as the Yavakalapi Sutta, comes in the Samyutta Nikaya. An interesting situation is mentioned where the gods and the asuras, devas and the asuras are going through a battle, and in which gods actually have won, and now they captured the asura king Vepachitti, and they are taking him in front of the king of the gods. So he is the Sakka. So Sakka Devendra. So this is something that we all know. And Vepachitti is, on the other hand, from another clan, we can say, another group of devas, and they are called asuras. And they have had a battle, and from that they defeated. Asuras were defeated. So the Vepachitti being the head of that group, so ultimately captured by the devas, and now he is taken to in front of the Sakka. So interesting point here is the bondage. So this bondage is not relevant. This bondage is not that he is bound by say chains and ropes and everything. Rather, it is his bondage is solely dependent on how he thinks. So if he thinks that these devas are very good, devas are righteous, they are correct, but asuras are not correct, then the problem is solved, basically. So he will be released. And he will be released, and then very much like he can freely move along with the devas. But if he thinks asuras are correct, and devas are not correct, devas are unrighteous, then actually he will be further bound and he is further captured by this particular type of bondage. So the important thing here is that this bondage is solely dependent on the thought of the asura, thought of the Vepachita. So we can see that it is not a real physical bondage, rather it is a kind of a bondage solely dependent on the thought of the asura. So that is the important thing. By the way, I am experiencing heavy rain. Don't know whether you can hear me, someone.
Yeah, we can hear you, Bhante. We can hear a bit of rain in the background as well, but we can hear you. That I think should be all right.
Okay, then time to time I will mute the mic so that you may not get disturbed because of the sound. But when I am talking, hope you still can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Bhante.
Fine. So you can proceed, Saman.
Okay, Bhante. Evaං sukamaං ko bhikkhave vepachitti bandhanaං tato sukumataraං mara bandhanaං manyamano ko bhikkhave baddho marassa amanyamano mutto papimato asmiti bhikkhave manyitta metaං ayam hamasmiti manyitta metaං bhavissanti manyitta metaං na bhavissanti manyitta metaං Rupi bhavissanti manyitta metaං arupi bhavissanti manyitta metaං sanyi bhavissanti manyitta metaං asanyi bhavissanti manyitta metaං neva sanyi nasanyi bhavissanti manyitta metaං manyitaං bhikkhave rogo manyitaං gandho manyitaං sallaං tasmātiha bhikkhave amanyamānena Cetasa viharissamāti evaññivo bhikkhave sikkitabbam. Asmīti bhikkhave indatta metaං ayam hamasmīti indatta metaං.
Saman, it is injita metaං.
Injita metaං.
Yeah.
Ehama Bhante. Asmīti bhikkhave injita metaං ayam hamasmīti injita metaං. The verse goes on as the previous one, and it comes to nevasanyi nasanyi pavassīti injita metaං tasmātiha bhikkhave aninjamānena cetasa viharissamāti evaññivo bhikkhave sikkitabbam. Asmīti bhikkhave pandita metaං asimiti bhikkhave pandita metaං, and the verse goes on and comes to pandita metaං. Pandita metaං.
Not the, but the pandita metaං.
Pandita metaං.
Right.
Pandita metaං. And the verse goes on and comes to tasmātiha bhikkhave apandita metaං cetasa viharissamāti.
Tasmātiha bhikkhave apandamānena cetasa viharissamāti.
Apandamānena cetasa viharissamāti evaññivo bhikkhave sikkitabbam. Asmīti bhikkhave papanchita metaං. Then comes to tasmātiha bhikkhave nippapanchena cetasa viharissamāti evaññivo bhikkhave sikkitabbam. Asmīti bhikkhave manakata metaං. And the verse goes on, then comes to tasmātiha bhikkhave nihatamānena cetasa viharissamāti evaññivo bhikkhave sikkitabbam. So subtle, brethren, is the bondage of Vepachitti, but more subtle still the bondage of Mara. He who imagines, brethren, is bound by Mara. He who does not imagine is freed from the evil one. I am. This is an imagining. This am I. This is an imagining. I shall be. That is an imagining. I shall not be. Embodied shall I be. Formless shall I be. I shall be conscious. Unconscious shall I be. Neither conscious nor unconscious shall I be. The imagining, brethren, is a disease. Imagining is an abscess, a barb. Wherefore, brethren, ye must say, with mind free from imaginings will we abide. Thus must ye train yourselves. I am, brethren, is an agitation. This am I. These, brethren, are agitations. Wherefore, brethren, ye must say, with mind free from agitation will we abide. Thus must ye train yourselves. Brethren, is a palpitation. This am I. These, brethren, are palpitations. Wherefore, brethren, ye must say, with mind free from palpitations will we abide. Thus must ye train yourselves. Brethren, is a conceptual proliferation. This am I. These, brethren, are proliferations. Wherefore, brethren, ye must say, with mind free from proliferations will we abide. Thus must ye train yourselves. Brethren, a conceit. This am I. These, brethren, are conceits. Wherefore, brethren, ye must say, with mind free from conceits will we abide. Thus must train yourselves.
One moment. So then we can start something here. You can see this is the structure, the organization of this particular sutta. So there are 5 main possibilities of generating thoughts. So they are very much like certain potentials available in the mind, and using any of these potentials, thought generation can happen, thought formation can happen. So one is called manyita. We can call it as conceiving or imagining. Where we imagine there is a person, we imagine there is a self, we imagine that so-called I is available. So based on that egocentric attitude, we are thinking, we are imagining, I am going to do this, I am going to do that. So many other different kinds of thinking, but the center is I. Center is a person. Center is myself. So that is why it is called conceiving. So this conceiving is one area. So we are continuously thinking. So we all individually think that I am here. Individually thinking I am talking. Individually thinking I am eating. Individually thinking, okay, I am watching the television, watching the news. So likewise, when we are engaged with different activities, probably sense of I can come to the picture. Based on that sense of I can think. Based on that sense of centered I, there is a kind of a thought. So I-centered thinking. So this is what we call as conceiving. And another point is called injita. Injita is typically translated as kind of an agitation. So there's a movement in the mind. But it is actually based on the craving. Now, mind has an ongoing thirst actually. Mind has its own different kind of requests, various different kinds of cravings. So they are constantly operating in the mind. So as a result of that, mind can't rest. Mind can't remain calm. Because many requests are going on. And various different kinds of demands are going on. Different kinds of requests are going on. And we always are bound to fulfill those requests. Fulfill those cravings. Fulfill that thirst. So mind can't remain calm. As a result of that, the agitation is there. So the agitation is another way of generating thoughts. So this is here actually Buddha is talking like the very genesis of thoughts. So what are the possibilities for thought generation? What are the possibilities of mental formations? So the second possibility is because of the craving. So there is an ongoing agitation in the mind. So that promotes thinking. That promotes different way of thoughts. That promotes ideation. And that promotes different kinds of explorations, investigations, so many different things because there is an inner agitation that was caused by craving. So that is the second option, the second possibility. Third possibility is called pandita. The mind naturally has kind of a restlessness. It is a kind of a palpitation. Now assume that now if you say to a young child, young kid, son or daughter, you just sit quietly on this chair. He can't stay like that. Maybe he can stay only 5 minutes. After that, he may start changing his posture and talking and, start laughing or start crying and asking this, asking that. Because he becomes restless. He can't simply sit quietly without doing anything. So this is the inherent property in our mind that actually causes thought thinking. So you can see how our thinking is motivated. What are the latent tendencies available? What are the inherent characteristics embedded into the mind which is promoting thinking? The third possibility, third such potential, third such force is called palpitation, is called agitation. There is an ongoing agitation. So mind can't remain quiet, mind can't remain still. So there is a kind of a turmoil going on every time. There's a kind of a palpitation going on every time. There's a kind of an agitation going on every time. So it starts thinking. Because there is a little inconsistent or there is a little frustration. So it starts thinking, promotes thinking. So that is the third possibility. The fourth is, of course, the possibility of papancha, where our mind prefers diversification. Mind wants to diversify. Mind wants to look from different angles. Wants to go in multiple directions. Rather than well-focused and quiet kind of abiding. Now, whenever something happens, so it wants to proliferate, it wants to diversify, it wants to multiply, it wants to change, it wants to interrupt, it wants to manipulate. Now, all this is very much like in the potential of papancha. So our minds are prone to do papancha, prone to do proliferation. So proliferation itself is another cause of thought generation, mental formations. That is the fourth one. Last one is called conceit. Managata, conceit. So we recognize myself as an individual and the others are different individuals. Others are outside individuals. So I am here, you are there. I am good, you are bad. So I am bad, you are good. I am, say, rich, you are poor. Oh, I am poor, you are rich. I am a monk, you are lay people. So likewise, we now start various kinds of divisions. So people are divided because of their ethnicity, because of their language, because of their culture, because of their living style, because of their upbringing, because of their education. So many different kinds of divisions are there. And so, which promotes some kind of a thinking. I am constantly going through this kind of comparison. Comparatively, I am thinking. So this distinction is a cause of thinking. Whenever we have some kind of a distinction, whenever we are comparing ourselves with another person, it promotes thinking. So I am better than you, so I have to behave like this. I am worse than you. I have to behave like this. I have to do something. So likewise, always I am measuring the situation, measuring myself with others and start thinking. So this is another area how the thought generation has happened. So we can recognize 5 such possibilities are listed in this Yavakalapi Sutta. And on the other hand, very primitive such thought generations or mental formations are listed here. There are actually, I think, now 9 kinds of things are listed there. As we can see, I am, this am I shall be, I shall not be, embodied shall I be, formless shall I be, I shall be conscious, unconscious shall I be, neither conscious nor unconscious shall I be. So basically these are 9 examples we would say. Very primitive, very fundamental 9 examples. You can see even the thought I am, according to Buddha, is a conceiving, is an imagination. So imagination is a very interesting area. So when we are operating as an individual, when we are operating as someone, so always the society has given us a name, various designations. Actually, all that helps to have an egocentric thinking. So we have an identity card. We have our social, say, security number. We have the passport number. So I have my identity. So likewise, the social environment, the outside environment, the economic background, all promotes this individual. All says, confirms that there is a person. So it's very likely, therefore, we assume that. So they all are telling that I am here, I am so and so. So I am that. Then I am talking, okay, I am that, I am so and so. So I have assumed as a person now. I am a father, I am a mother, I am a child, I am a teacher, I am a monk, I am a layperson, whatever the way. Now, based on that very underneath tendency, now I start thinking. So my whole different kinds of thinking is now particularly based on this imagined I, mind-made I, created I. So I-centered thinking is now going on, what we sometimes call as conceiving, imagining. Now, interesting thing here, Buddha mentioned, imagining, brethren, is a disease. Imagining is an abscess, a barb. So Buddha categorically mentioned, Manyitam bhikkave gandu. Or before that, Manyitam bhikkave rogo. Manyitam gandu, Manyitam salla. Manyitam bhikkave rogo, Manyitam gandu, Manyitam salla. So conceiving, imagining is a disease. Conceiving, imagining is a dart. Conceiving, imagining, or rather, Gando means cancer, we can say. Then conceiving, imagining is a dart, a bar. Now, we can see even these subtle thoughts actually promotes thinking. We may start in a very innocent manner and looking at our own self and recognizing myself, recognizing my body. You are in front of the, say, mirror and you can see yourself, and now you may be getting old or you are sick now. So you imagine about yourself. So what has happened to me? What's going to happen to me? So there I am available. So in front of the mirror, so I am here. I can see my image, so I am here. Okay, you are going through your past album. Assume that you have a very interesting, your wedding album. So all of a sudden you got some free time. Now you are going through this wedding album. So different occasions are there, your friends are there, and your parents are there, and you are also there. So you immediately come to the front, oh, I am here. So I am really beautiful. I am very handsome. I have worn a very beautiful dress on that day. You can see my friends, how they are helping me, or they are, help me in this occasion. So now you are operating, now you start thinking, because I am here. So this is my wedding. This is my occasion. One of my important occasion of my life. Now I am in the front. So you as an individual start thinking. Suppose now there is a book to which you have contributed, or you are the one that it has authored. So you have written a book, and now you are observing that book, you are reading that book, and many thoughts are coming. Oh, how well I have written it. What a nice book. What a beautiful book. Better I promote this book. Better I ask others also to read this book. Or on the other hand, you might think, okay, I haven't done that properly. I could have done that better. I better revise this book. So the I-centered thinking. So all these creations, all our creativity, all our actions, all our volitions are helpful to have this sense of I. So I am here. I am so and so. And suppose now you remember about your college life. You remember about your campus life. And you are with your friends. Sometimes, as you are remembering all those events, your holidays, your campus events, or your college events, again, you come to the front. I am there. I am so and so. I have done well. Now, a lot of thinking is possible. So, all that indicate an available I. A presence of the I, presence of an individual, and that individual is now thinking. You have imagined I. You have supposed an I. You have assumed I. And while keeping that assumed I as the center, you can think many different ways. So that is how the language is prepared. Various tenses are prepared. Various denominations are prepared. Various different kinds of vocabulary is prepared. And now it is promoting thinking, many different way of expressing our views, talking our waves, and like that. So these are in a way taking us to a different state. Probably I might even lose the present moment. I am now in an imagined world. I have become someone. I am no more a typical human being. I am a very special person now. I am a VIP now. So you have to respect, you have to salute me. I am a very important person. So I am imagining, I am conceiving. So this manyita is very subtle cause for us to generate many different kinds of thinking. And that is where Buddha mentioned it is a disease. And it is a cancer. And it is a barb. It is a dart. So therefore Buddha mentioned, with the mind free from imagining, the mind free from conceiving, you have to live. This is the way you need to restrain yourself. So we will go through the other ones next week. So I stop here, and I like to hear if there are any questions. Probably we can go through those questions.